What's up, Mugs? It's your girl Diamond. I am back with my own review of the Belle Collective. So we are back where we left off at Willie's birthday fish fry. That Letitia's crying and begging for everybody to move forward, particularly Latrice and Marie, right? And I feel like, okay, Letitia, nobody has a problem moving forward, but you need to acknowledge what caused the divide, okay? Now Marie, she's all being standoffish. She said, "I ain't got nothing to say. I ain't saying nothing. I ain't bothering nobody." And in the confessional, she's like, "I understand Letitia's all about female empowerment, but right now I'm just not in that space. I'm sorry." Okay, Marie, I feel like for you, you have majority to apologize in this group. You have to take the most accountability out of everybody, in my opinion. Okay? And while wanting to move forward, Letitia comes back where Akeisha, Selena, and Latrice was at to let them know we gotta stop this. We gotta stop this division. We can't keep having little inner circles, everybody. We gotta just stop this. We really gotta move forward. Then move forward, Tisha. Let's move forward, okay? So when she pulls Latrice to the side, she talks about in the confessional that the energy between Marie and Latrice is what's causing the divide, is what's causing the rift between everybody, and it needs to stop. Okay, well, let's address it. Let's address why. So she's talking to Latrice about how she's the closest to her and Marie, and I want y'all to come together. I want y'all to at least acknowledge that y'all want to move forward. Like, give me a sign. Latrice don't want to hear that. She said, "Girl, me and you are good. You trying to have me and Marie be good? That's dead. Okay, that's never gonna happen." And in the confessional, she's like, "Letitia, you're barely back in my life. I'm barely on good terms with you. You might want to keep it where it's at and not trying to force me to make right with Marie because it's not going to happen. Okay, point blank, period." Then back with Marie, she's talking to Akeisha and Selena, and she's discussing about how a lot of malicious things have been done to her, and she don't want to entertain herself by being involved with somebody like that. And if you're around somebody who wants to set you up and expose you and embarrass you, you can't trust people like that. I'm like, Marie, are we talking about you? Like, we're not about to do this, Marie. We have to go back to the first season, the first episode, where you wanted to show up and embarrass Latrice about her quality of her hair. Let's not go there. And if there weren't already rumblings of how legal, how real your practices was, there wouldn't have been nothing to talk about. And you went way below the belt to listen to a stalker of Tambra's past, to get information out of him because you say Tambra lies. She never talks about her life, and you thought that was the right way to go? No, ma'am. No, ma'am, Marie. Absolutely not. Let's talk about that, Marie. Because if we want to talk about people doing malicious things to one another, you have been the main one going below the belt, okay? You did it to Latrice and you did it to Tambra. Point blank, period, okay? Now, of course, she talks about how she has a lot to deal with in her own family, so I would rather deal with that versus me dealing with Latrice. But it's still a part of you escaping accountability of the parts you played in this divide, this rift between everybody, all right? But at the end, that's all it was. Okay, I'm tired of Letitia crying because she needs this check. She needs everybody to be in the same space. Otherwise, she's losing out on some money. But we're going to move on. So now we're continuing on with Marie. She's meeting with her cousin Natty to discuss their issues. Her and Natty grew up together, but as they've gotten older, they've gone their separate ways. But she has helped her cousin out when she was in a jam. She ended up working for one of her clinics for 14 years, but recently up and quit and wanted to understand why. The cousin carries resentment towards Marie about how they don't have a closer relationship, how their children don't know each other. And she calls Marie the glue. Like, Marie has all the power, all the responsibility in the world to bring everybody together. But if she's already helping y'all with jobs, helping y'all in a financial standpoint, why is it on her to bring you guys together? Y'all can reach out to her and say, "We're planning a barbecue, we're planning an event. You want to come in on that?" Like, what's up with that? I don't get that, okay? And as much as Marie likes to remind them that I gave y'all jobs, I gave y'all opportunities, they say you did, and we've earned our position. We worked hard for what you've given us. We never took it for granted. But obviously, you guys are still having your hand out like one of the Gross sisters, the one that has her hand out all the time because y'all want something. But Marie brings up that her cousin used to be a stripper out of Texas. She came back here to give her another chance on another opportunity. I took you from the stripper pole to the corporate ladder. Now, of course, I don't like the fact that Marie likes to remind people their downfalls and place herself out to be the hero by saying, I did this for you, I changed your life. I sometimes don't like that though, because I feel like, were you the last option that could have helped her? Were you the only option? Because some things, two things can be true, right? Marie has definitely treated her family like shit, but her family appears to be users and are ungrateful. Point blank, period. Okay? And when she brought up how she's had lupus flares and there are times where she couldn't get out of bed, she couldn't even go to the kitchen, get her a cup of water, where were you guys? Were you guys checking in on me? The cousin said none, but that's how you preferred it. You prefer for us to not come around. You prefer for us to not come in and check in on you. I have a sneaky suspicion that Marie does like to separate herself from where she came from, but she still likes to dangle her success in front of her family members. And also, dangles a treat for them to behave, for them to be, act right in order for her to give them what they need from her. Like, I have that manipulation energy from Marie, but at the end of the day, it's like, what else do you want from me? I've done so much for this family, but yet I'm not seeing anybody come for me when I need them. That's why she has Etsy, which I can understand. So there was a moment when Marie found out about her cousin's lease. I think she wanted to take care of her lease, but also her cousin is also in need of money. So maybe she can come back to the clinic and work for a couple of hours. Otherwise, I can do that, or I can give you the money out of pocket. Would you rather do that? The cousin ends up making a face that she would rather work for the money, but she does not want to come back to one of Marie's clinic. And it had another question in my head. Marie, are you a horrible boss? How much do you pay your employees? I mean, to hear how your family members have worked for you for over a decade and yet they're still where they're at, how much do you pay them? Do you give them enough hours? Like, do you siphon their hours or something? I'm just wanting to know. But other than that, in order for them to move forward and resolve their issues, she gives her an invite to her opening of her new clinic in Mississippi. And if you was to show up, that could be a sign to move forward. Otherwise, I'll see you later. For me, I was so hoping to be on the cousin's side because I'm like, well, what else does Marie have to do? I mean, yeah, she helped you out. Hell, she offered to help you pay your rent and everything, and yet you still want more. So it's like, I can understand why Marie, I guess, handles her family from a distance, only gives them what they need, don't give them more because they're already taking more than what they need. I can understand that. But like I said before, two things can be true. I feel like in this moment, it did reveal Marie does treat her family like shit, but her family don't know what else to expect from her. Her family only wants what she's willing to give them. Her family wants her to take care of their problems. That's it. That's just what it is. But I'm going to move on from there. So now we move on to a double scene with Selena and her girls going to a boutique shop to shop for dresses because Star, one of the twins, is pregnant again and she's having a little girl. So while discussing the party, Selena asked did they invite their father. She said she did, but she's not sure if she's going to come. It is really not fair that the girls can't just have that automatic understanding, that automatic, knowing that their father will show up because that's their father. But the issues that they've created have caused this rift, and it's really going to impact the negative relationship between him and his grandchildren. And we also are discussing the peace bond with Gucci going to the law about the fight and that we can't be in the same room with one another. And if we were to be in the same room, we would instantly go to jail. But Selena is trying her damnedest to make sure her daughters keep up constant communication with their father. But back with Gucci, they're having a double date with Akeisha and Willie. They're at a pickleball lesson. Now, Willie is not there. He's back in New York for work. But since they weren't able to see him at his party, they figured this double date would make up for it. And I love the fact that Akeisha took her husband along and was able to get him on FaceTime so he can be present in this scene. I love that. After they played, Akeisha expressed what happened at the party. And the purpose of the party was for them to invite their special someone. And Latrice said that Cliff couldn't make it, but she brought Selena. We all know that Selena and Latrice are very close. And just laying on out on the line. I can't tell Latrice she can't bring Selena because I'm friends with you, and I already know you my girl, and I want y'all to be. I want you to come to my event. But considering the legalities y'all have one another, y'all can't be in the same place. So I just wanted to be known. If there are times where you can't come to my event because Selena's gonna be there, it's vice versa. And Gucci appreciates Akeisha for setting the tone that it's not on some fake shit, it's not on some messy shit, that if I invite Latrice, she will bring Selena around. It's not to hurt you that if you can't come. It's because you guys can't be in the same space. And she's uh figuring out the issue she has with the girls. And she doesn't want someone to insert themselves in and make it worse. But I don't know who she's referring to as inserting. If you're talking about Selena, they're their mom. That's their mom. So I don't know how she can't insert herself in the situation when you brought her in the situation. And Gucci just removes herself by saying it's not even the issue with her. The issue is with their father because their father haven't spoken to them. And I feel like Gucci, let's not do that. You, however, came on 10 and walked up on Selena, called her an extra, got in a fight. You got a glass handed to you. It is what it is. You need to open up with the part you played in, okay? And you never took back the statements you made about Selena. And let's not forget that JJ and Gucci have been talking cash money shit about Selena since they've been on the show. That season where they tried to create a negative narrative that Selena was an ancient mother, was not cool, was not warranted. And I didn't understand what JJ was talking about when he was talking about I can't be around somebody who's willing to befriend somebody to ruin your reputation and mess up your relationship and blah blah blah. I'm like, what are you talking about, JJ? You, my dear sir, have created this rift between you and your girls based off of your marriage with Gucci, because you guys are trying to make this y'all show. You know what I'm saying? I already called it out last time I reviewed this show, which was last season, that Gucci felt the way about Selena coming in already with connection with the other ladies. And she felt like you coming on my shit because Gucci was never recognized on Bring It when it was never about her. Same with JJ. While he was the funny parent of Bring It, it still wasn't about him. It was about the girls. So now that they have their own time to be on a show where it's about them, they want this to be their moment to shine. Having Selena there can ruin their moment. But if that's all you guys care about, is making sure you guys have a moment, you guys have this time to make it about you, then that's not going to be good. And Willie had a point. He said, y'all got to figure this out. Y'all got to set an example for your daughters. And I agree. JJ needs to get out of his feelings and apologize for the things he said and done. So does Gucci. Okay? And Akeisha, she's listening to them. But I think that Akeisha knows there's more to the story. But she's not going to take it upon herself to be involved. Okay? This is their family business. This is their family issues. I am not going to say anything about it. I'm going to stay out of it. And I appreciate that, Akeisha. I really do. And now we're going to move on. We get Glenn. Glenn is heading over to his cousin's house because he's in need for some advice. Now, Glenn has not fished in a long time. He's a bit rusty. And that was a failed attempt. So now he is sitting down with his cousin to get some advice on his next move because he's tired of working on the tugboat. He's been working on the tugboat for about 14 years and he's missed a lot of birthdays, a lot of celebrations, and knowing that his child is getting older, he wants to be around more. Okay, that could be a noble reason, but I do think it's because he wants to be a part of this show. Glenn wants recognition, he wants attention, and this is what the reality TV show gives him. But, okay, I appreciate that. So you can't just up and quit your job. What do you have planned? So he wants to get into entrepreneurship. And he's thinking about getting into the box truck logistics field, which is a very good field to get into. You know, there's money to be made in that field. But have you spoken to Letitia about it? I think it flashed back to them having a conversation, but he didn't get the proper response or the response that he would have expected out of Letitia, because she said, okay, cool. I understand you love being back home. I enjoy you being back home. Our son enjoys you being back home, but what's next? Okay. What's the plan? Because you know we need your money. We need your 9-to-5 check, your consistent check. Because you know my shit not paying for this. So the cousin gave Atisha an understanding that she's already dealt with the downfalls of entrepreneurship. So you can't just hop in this field thinking that's going to take off. He has the confidence and the faith to believe it will, but he also is planning on moving forward anyway without letting Letitia know what steps he's made, what money he put in. He just wants to go ahead and get into it and show her the proof, which I feel like it's a bad idea. I think you should inform Letitia what your plans are so y'all can have a backup plan. Y'all can have a plan B in case something went wrong, you know? But he's all about protecting his family and providing his family, and that she needs to just trust him. Now, he is still feeling like Letitia does not look at him as a priority. Like she still has him last on her list of things to do. Marie is about to conduct a meeting, but she halts the meeting to go out in the back. She takes off her shoes and starts to cry. Wondering why is she crying? She received some horrible news from Essie's medical report that half of Essie's lungs are not functioning properly, and she now has to be put on the lung transplant list. Now, she said it's just a precaution, just to be, safe and everything, but I'm going to be okay. Both her and Marie were having a moment. They were crying. It was Marie's ugly cry that I was like, damn, don't let me get this point where I'm emotional. Please don't. But I'm sorry. I'm not trying to make this a funny moment. It's just Marie's face. She needs to stop touching her face. Either way, while listening to this horrible news, she's like, I have been knowing Essie for over 20 years. We started our hair care empire together. I cannot imagine continuing this without her. But Essie said, I'm going to be okay. Marie was like, I know, I have faith. I believe it is going to be okay. It is. It is. Now, of course, in this moment, this was Essie's, news to reveal. The fact that Marie chose to use this as a moment for her, it just didn't sit with me. Now, I understand Marie can feel some type of way because both her and Essie are having lupus. They both have lupus. I understand that, I do. But I don't know. I just felt like Marie took on this moment to make it about her, as far as her being the main one crying, boo-hooing, breaking down, and Essie's being the strong one and calming her down and consoling her when this was about her. This was about Essie. But that's just me. While this was a very touching moment, this was a very sad moment, and I hear you, but we're going to move on. So she continued with her meeting. It's pretty much to discuss the breakdown of how to conduct the ribbon cutting ceremony and looking for something positive to take her mind off the news she just received. Letitia comes in and they were discussing the ceremony, but Letitia knew that there was something wrong. Marie was already crying again. It's like, what's the matter? What's wrong? Essie told her about her lungs not working properly and she's putting herself on the lung transplant list. Now, Letitia did give her support and is willing to pray, but I felt like Letitia did not read this moment and instantly went into what she wished this could do, which is fix the relationship between Marie and Latrice. Let this be an opportunity to fix the collective. And I'm like, you cannot apply that to this, Letitia. This is a whole different situation. You want to use this moment where it's very heart-wrenching and sad to make it about the collective. It shows that your mindset is not about other people. You have a very selfish mindset of making sure things only apply to you, that it doesn't apply to anybody else. So just wondering, like, will they come together? Now, Marie asked her, you was trying to push me to have a conversation with Latrice and you were crying so much. I wanted to know, were you crying for me? Were you crying for you? Letitia said she was crying for the whole situation. I want it all to stop. You guys be going back and forth with each other and y'all got to stop. Y'all been repeating the same thing over and over again. Now, Marie is like, I'm not about to be sitting there looking at somebody who I'm thinking is evil. And I'm not going to be dealing with that. And I'm tired of Marie acting like she's a victim. I really am. Now, Letitia about the legacy of the collective and blah, blah, blah. But I feel like you're not addressing the problem. You're still not addressing it. And as far as Marie talking about how evil Latrice is, girl, I'm looking at evil right now. And this was another moment for you, Letitia, to stop Marie from talking about Latrice in that way. Then she went on to say, calling Latrice a rattlesnake. I'm like, then what are you? A serpent? A cobra? Girl, you are one of the house of Slytherin. I know you're not talking about a snake, ma'am. It takes a snake to know a snake. We're not doing this. Marie. We're not. You came after Latrice first. Okay? You still haven't held yourself accountable for what you did to Tambra. I'm not doing this. Letitia, speak up, ma'am. You just got back good with Latrice. I would never have allowed for Marie to say one negative word about Latrice after I have been wanting her friendship back. I would have said, okay, Marie, stop. We all know this. We all know the story. We're not dealing with this. Stop with the name calling. Just stop, stop, stop. But no, you didn't do it, Letitia. You just sat there and let Marie call her a snake. That's why she can't trust you. Because you never speak up about her reputation. You never speak on when people are saying negative things about her. You just sit there and let it happen. Can't trust you. But we're going to move on. We get Gucci. Gucci sets up a gym session for one of her good friends. Her name is Kim. She says she's someone she can confide in. But this gym scene was a fake out scene because your friend came in full face of makeup and her hair was laid. But either way, they have not seen each other since the fight happened between her and Selena. Now, the friend told her, y'all gotta move forward, okay? Y'all gotta extend the olive branch and acknowledge what happened. Somebody needs to be the bigger person. But she's telling Gucci, you gotta be the one to do it. And she's all about trying to push JJ to fix his relationship. She said, I understand that, but y'all gotta make it right with you guys first. Now, she agrees with her friend to a certain extent because she does want to figure out how to keep this relationship between JJ and his children to work. But JJ has to be the one to make the move. And she can't erase Selena out of the picture because that's their mother. She's never going to go away. And she'll figure out the next part of that later. And she's just like, I know I have to have a conversation with Selena at some point, but I'm like, where did we go wrong? How did we get to this point where I'm calling out a peace bond on her, like I had to lash out? Why? Because you was talking shit about her. You and JJ made it seem as if Selena was a horrible parent. Weren't you talking shit about her on social media that the girls told you to stop doing? Like, Gucci, you have to own your part. You called her an extra and got your ass handed to you. Like, you've been in this competitive space with JJ's ex for no reason because JJ put your ass there. Now we're talking about her daughter D. Her daughter D's going through some struggles as well. She just went through a horrible breakup. She's going through depression, and it got very, very bad. Now we all know from last season, her daughter D did express the issues she was going through when she was growing up with Sanjay, Star, and Sky, right? And knowing that JJ was in the picture, she expressed to her mother that when JJ came around, you left me behind. I was dealing with a lot of issues that you never had time to help me get through. And while your daughter's dealing with other issues, I do fault you for creating these issues though, Gucci. I do fault you for that because you weren't present for your daughter when she was growing up. You made yourself available for JJ's daughters. You chose to be a better parent, AJ, when you guys got together, and you left your daughter behind to deal with the struggles, to deal with the issues. Now, she wants to make sure that the kids are good, and she's trying to make her husband, understand that, but then Gucci makes it about her that nobody checks in on her. While she's figuring out her husband, she's figuring out her children, she's figuring out her business. She never has anybody for her to cry her shoulders on, for her to have a support system. And she doesn't show her emotions to JJ. So I feel like JJ is not going to be open. He's going to make a joke about it. And she gets a hug from her friend by saying you need to check on your strong friends. You do. You do. She's been holding in a lot. She thought that crying was a sign of weakness. But she does realize I have to figure out why I'm holding on to this. Why do I lash out? Why do I, have such frustrations in me? Why? But we're going to have to move on from there. But like I said before, we got Marie. Marie is now riding in her company van, okay, with Letitia and Gucci for an hour and a half drive to her new treatment clinic, her new opioid clinic. And she did invite her cousins. Not sure they're going to show. Newsflash, they did not show. Gucci asked Letitia, how's everything going between her and Glenn? She said, girl, it's a lot. But she is talking about renovating their first home, and Letitia is itching to buy another property because she wants to elevate. She believes if I'm elevating, everything around me needs to elevate. So they make it to her grand opening. Marie gives an opening speech. They open the clinic. It's a very nice clinic. And yes, just figuring out her cousins didn't show up, but we did meet her father and her brother. We know her little daughter, and her father has been very proud of Marie's success. He's been there every step of the way, raising her and her brother. Then you got Letitia and Gucci Boohoo crying because how much love Marie's father has shown, has expressed. And he never realized the impact that her mom had while being absent, while living on the streets and not being there for Marie. And Gucci is just like, I understand how important it is for a father to have a relationship with their daughter because I want this for JJ. I want this to be, what they have. But I also think it's Gucci feeling guilty that she doesn't have this with her own children, especially with her own daughter. And seeing this as an inspiration for her to push JJ even further, for him to make sure he keeps a relationship with his children. And after that, that was the end of that. I appreciate it. We're seeing Marie be about her business. I love it. Moving on. So it ends things with Letitia taking Glenn on a tour to look at a land that she wants to purchase because she believes this is their next entrepreneur journey to renovate their new home, build their new home. Very happy with the first home they bought and purchased. Very happy with renovating their second home, and just wants to continue on with the elevation. He sees it, all he sees is forests and trees and gnats flying everywhere. He's like, why are we here? You trying to unalive me? What's going on here? Well, she's been on the phone with her realtor to get the sale all ready to buy it. And he's pumping the brakes on it. He's like, wait. I know we were discussing this, but I didn't know we were moving forward with this. She said, why? This is a great opportunity for us, a way for us to move forward. So while talking about purchasing this land, she's also discussing a brunch she's hosting in New Orleans. And she's going to make it out as a trip for the ladies to come. Glenn automatically invites himself, and then the ding ding ding, an idea pops into Letitia's head that would be a good idea. We all travel as a couple. We have not all seen each other as a couple lately, so this will be a great place for us to, hang out each other. And since my majority of my brunches cater to women, to see how the men operate, it will be a good idea because I'm teaching class on entrepreneurship. So this will be a great experience for us to try. I already said he wants to hold off on buying this land because he feels like she's planning ahead and making all these decisions without his involvement. He's like, you can't be the husband and the wife. You got to let me know too. So he is setting up to tell her, we're not ready to buy this land because I quit my job. She was like, you did what? And it left it on a cliffhanger because in the preview of the next episode, she's going to now reveal she just got an email of her results of her mammogram test. The doctors found some lumps in her breast, some unknown substance, unknown mass in her breast that she has to go back and figure out. So, of course, leaving it on him to hear such horrible news, it's like, no. Both of y'all have decided to keep things from the other person. You just up and quit your job, where she said all of our insurance comes from your job. Now I got to figure out how to pay for this appointment along with a copay in order for us to find out what's wrong with my breast. Ooh, can't do it. Y'all were both hiding pivotal information from one another. Why didn't you tell him about your appointment? And why weren't you letting her know when you were going to quit your job? And that would have given her some time, both of y'all, to come up with a backup plan. A mess. Let's hope it's real. But y'all, that's it. That's all I have. Please stay tuned for my next video, and I'm going to see you guys later. Bye.